From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 for Friday, February 3rd. It is cold, frigid air to end the work week. Wind chill values are anywhere between the single digits to below zero. Temps are going to have a hard time warming up today. We're going to reach the low 20s. Skies are going to stay mostly clear, but it's not going to help us much temperature-wise. It is going to make way, though, for a really nice weekend with much more mild temperatures. IMPD is working to figure out how a man and woman found dead inside a home died. Officers responded to the home on Chester Avenue near Sherman Drive for a welfare check just after 10 last night. Police at the scene told our crew they couldn't see any trauma on the victims initially, and they're not sure of the circumstances of their deaths. Homicide detectives are investigating, though IMPD is not calling it a homicide right now. Police in Memphis, Tennessee say an Indianapolis man is dead and a police officer is critically wounded after a shooting at a library. Someone called police around noon yesterday to report a trespasser near the Poplar White State Public Library. Police say 28-year-old Torrance Jackson Jr. had started a confrontation with someone inside. Officers tried to talk with them, and that's when police say Jackson pulled out a gun and shot the officer. Another officer fired back, killing Jackson. Now to IT Mate and a new report on gun crimes here in Indiana and across the country. It comes as the federal government releases its first sweeping gun crime report in more than 2 decades. IT Mate's Cody Fisher takes a look at the numbers for Indianapolis and Indiana and what they mean.
In the last 5 years, law enforcement has gotten more successful in tracing guns used in crimes back to the people who bought them. And the same goes for IMPD here in Indianapolis, who says that they're using this data to track down criminals and to prevent gun crime.
In the last 5 years, Indianapolis has traced more than 16,500 guns used in crime back to the original person who bought them.
Just better police work on our part.
When there is any type of shooting in Indianapolis, police are collecting the shell casings, testing them, and putting them into the database created by the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. If police confiscate a gun when they arrest somebody for a crime, they also test that gun and put the information into the same database to see if it's been used in a crime. IMPD compares the database to a tool on their tool belt that they weren't using until about 5 years ago. In that same time, they've ramped up how much they're using it.
We're just processing the evidence better, which is leading to these increased numbers.
These bar and pie graphs tell investigators where guns used in crimes are being purchased, the age of the person purchasing them, type of gun, and how many guns were stolen and then used in a crime.
Compiling it in one place maybe makes some of the trends more visual.
Suzanne Dabkowski is a spokesperson for the ATF. She says the use of their database is just another way for detectives to track down criminals.
You can suddenly realize that the same firearm has been used in crimes, not just in Indianapolis, but in some of the suburban cities as well. Whereas before you would never have known that that gun had traveled to these different places. Now you know that. Now it doesn't prove whose hands it was in. You still need to do good old-fashioned police work to figure that out.
When Assistant Chief Christopher Bailey looks at the data for Indianapolis in the last 5 years,
the number that concerns me most is time to crime.
Time to crime is how long it takes for a gun to be used in a crime after it was bought. In the last 5 years, more than 28% of guns they traced were bought under a year before they were used in a crime. IMPD says that could mean several things. Either they were stolen from lawful gun owners or gun stores, or someone bought them with the specific goal of selling them to criminals.
We're not just focused on just the trigger pullers. We're also interested in who's providing these weapons.
IMPD says they need data the ATF system provides because it's more difficult to get convictions without it.
It's no longer eyewitness testimony or police testimony is not going to be enough to take a case to prosecution, let alone conviction.
The ATF characterizes Indianapolis as a large city, and out of 10 large cities, Indianapolis tracked the 4th most guns back to criminals in the last 5 years. Reporting in Indianapolis, Cody Fisher, Wish TV, IT Mate.
And Mayor Joe Hogsett says that he is happy to see more businesses joining a camera network program aimed at deterring crime. The B-Link initiative allows IMPD to tap into the camera's live feeds and dispatch officers to a scene more quickly. More than 30 businesses have signed up for the program. It is partially funded by the American Rescue Plan. Businesses can apply for a $2,500 grant to install and manage the cameras. Hogsett says it's helped decrease the city's homicide rate. In South Bend, a halftime fight led to the cancellation of a boys' varsity basketball game. And it was all caught on a live stream through IHSAA's website. So it happened last night between Washington and Riley High Schools. The fight appeared to start in the stands between fans, then spilled out onto the floor for several minutes. Police say at one point, all of its second detail officers were at the school to help clear the building. Police say no one was hurt seriously or arrested. The FBI is planning to search the Carmel home and D.C. office of former Indiana Governor and Vice President Mike Pence. That's according to anonymous sources cited by CNN. The report comes just more than a week after Pence's attorneys revealed they found classified materials at his home. It says that the report says that Pence's legal team doesn't believe there are any more documents. A former FBI agent here locally, Doug Kuhn, says he doesn't believe Pence took any of the documents with malicious intent, which he says is very different than the situation with former President Trump. The report does not specify exactly when the search will happen. A new poll shows the majority of Americans are unsatisfied with the state of the U.S. Gallup released the results of its annual Mood of the Nation poll yesterday. According to the data, just 41% of Americans say they're satisfied across the board. That's identical to last year and up just 2% from 2021. New research shows college enrollment levels are starting to stabilize. The National Student Clearinghouse Research Center released its latest report yesterday. It shows enrollment decreased by 0.6% last fall compared to the year before. According to the report, enrollment numbers are still well below pre-pandemic levels. The data shows enrollment is down about 5% from the fall of 2019, just before the pandemic started. China says it is now looking into reports of a spy balloon flying over the United States. One place officials spotted it was over Montana, which is home to one of America's 3 nuclear missile silo fields. The Pentagon says it's been tracking the balloon for several days now. The Pentagon says the balloon is flying well above commercial air traffic and is not a military or physical threat. China's foreign ministry says it has no intention of violating U.S. territory. The Pentagon says it's seen similar balloon activity over the past several years. It says the government has taken steps to ensure no sensitive information was stolen. And newly minted All-Star Tyrese Halliburton's return was not enough to help the blue and gold take down the visiting Lakers, but it was so close. Halliburton helped the Pacers hold on to a lead almost the entire game, but LeBron James and the Lakers won it by 1 point. They went to the free throw line 16 times in the final quarter. Pacers lose 112-111. Halliburton found out he'd been selected for the All-Star game during starting lineup, so that was a silver lining there. The Pacers are back in action tonight, this time welcoming back former Pacers fan favorite Domantas Sabonis and the Kings. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update on demand for even more on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.